All right, so we're going to go to that home.
Yes.
And see where Christopher was last seen.
It's that corner house right there.
It's been about 40 years since he went missing.
1986.
Yeah, do you remember that case?
We do. We didn't live here, obviously, then.
You know, there's no way a 7-month-old would walk out of that home. Something happened to him, and somebody picked him up that night.
Yeah.
And it was law enforcement's job to go in there and to secure the location to make sure that they had the evidence they needed to find out who did it. But we've talked about the evidence. They didn't take a blanket.
Right.
They didn't take the bedding.
The bottle.
They didn't take the bottle.
And you talk about my poor dad getting that information, not real, you know, you just told me all my son's evidence was destroyed.
Now it makes so much sense why law enforcement is so tight-lipped about it.
The police never, ever got our phone record or asked for our phone calls that we made out of our home that night.
Has law enforcement ever named a suspect in this?
They have named a person of interest,
And who's that?
Emma Bradshaw.
Can I help you? Yeah, my name is Luis Carlos. I am an investigator from New Mexico. How are you?
I'm doing good.
We're actually looking for your mom, Emma. Is she around? If that's what was in the transcripts and that's what was the testimony, then somebody lied.
To reach out to you to get a copy of the interview that you conducted with Robert Manzanares.
That you're going to be putting this in as evidence or
Yes.
potential evidence?
No, it is. It'll be in evidence under the case.
So what's interesting though about this is that it's not just any type of harassment. The person who was the alleged victim in this case was somebody she was having an affair with. And the other victim that was listed was his wife. By all means, we're not done. We are not even close to being done in this case. Hey everyone, I'm Crystal. I was a TV news reporter and anchor for more than 15 years, covering stories of remarkable people, tragedies that turned into heartbreak, and stories that are now part of history. But there are some stories that just stick with you. How many missing persons cases do you believe you have? Every year, tens of thousands of people are listed as missing. So I called in the expertise of my longtime friend, retired detective, now private investigator Lewis.
I really don't believe that. There's no evidence behind it.
Together, we're diving into cases that sit untouched for years. I feel they focus too much on him.
You think so?
And it may not have been him the whole time. And hitting the road. Farmington, here we come. Along the way, we'll talk to those left behind.
She was wonderful. She was my older sister.
Something feels missing.
Just want her home.
Something's not right.
And to those who were part of the investigation.
I mean, the same dog found burnt remains.
All in hopes of uncovering new details. He has never been interviewed by police.
That's the person that I think did it.
To give families some closure as we go beyond the case.
Okay, and I go all the way to K.
And 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Case. I'm Crystal.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lewis.
Tonight we continue our investigation into the bizarre disappearance of 7-month-old baby Christopher Abeyta.
This week, we told you how the Colorado Springs Police Department, they were focused on the family from the beginning. For an example, they were questioning the family members individually.
That's right. Now, no one's going to question that or think that's wrong. However, did that tunnel vision hurt this investigation? We learned when police arrived on scene, they did not set up any crime scene tape, and they left behind a lot of potential evidence.
And that included bedding from Christopher's crib, the bottle that was used to feed him, They never even fingerprinted the residence.
And when more evidence surfaced that the family may not have been involved, it was hard to pinpoint who was.
Get this, Crystal. We also learned that someone named as a person of interest in Christopher's case had been arrested before, and the circumstances behind that arrest involved another affair and another family.
So the big question is, did police botch this investigation from the beginning? We'll let you be the judge. Before we dive in, though, we want to thank you for watching Beyond the Case.
Something feels missing, something's not right. I had it all written, but the ink never dried.
Every single one of these cases is important to somebody.
These aren't just cases to them.
No.
This is Denise's life.
Yeah.
Went running away.
He would have been, I think this was just a few weeks before he was taken. And my sister actually took that photo. Seeing her curled up, like just in a fetal position. I need my baby, I need my baby. And then to see that she didn't get any help. She didn't get any help. She was out there looking for her baby, and she was literally told by the police, you hurt your baby and you did something, and she didn't. And so I have that drive too, to go her life. She devoted her life to find Christopher, and I'm not gonna, her years of life, I'm not gonna let that just go, well, she's gone, and now, we can move on. And not to mention, it's about Christopher, a baby that went missing. And if he's out there, because he has a right to know that he had a family that loved him, and he had a loving family, and that how much they did to find him.
Did you know that there was an actual warrant for her arrest issued out of all these allegations and charges?
What's even more interesting about this is that there's allegations in there that she broke into their home where they have children. This person of interest has never been charged, or her interview by police has never been released to the public. There is an interview of her because of that civil lawsuit that allowed her to give an alibi on the night that Christopher disappeared. And do you remember if you were living in the house with her, in the basement? Where was your bedroom?
I don't think I had a bedroom. I think I stayed on the couch.
Was there a basement in that house?
I don't remember.
Did Emma usually wake you up whenever you stayed the night at her house, or How did you wake up?
Just on my own, I guess.
Okay. Did you have like your own alarm clock? Because you said
Probably
you're sitting on the
just
couch.
myself as an alarm clock, you know.
Yeah. So she never woke you up? That wasn't like a routine thing?
No.
Because if that's what was in the transcripts and that's what was the testimony, then somebody lied.
Right. And even if there is a basement, he specifically said he didn't have a bedroom and he slept on the couch. Again, these are things you would remember.
To reach out to you to get a copy of the interview that you conducted with Robert Manzanares.
Let's go turn this video in. Scott Owen. Okay. Give me just a moment. Okay, so we're here in Colorado Springs, about to meet with the lieutenant who's in charge of homicides in cold cases. Scott Owen. Okay. Give me just a moment. And here is we put it on an external drive. It's about a 30-minute interview though, however. So, and as mentioned, it's Robert Manzanares. You'll see it's going to be labeled there. And he's the brother of Emma Bradshaw, who was a person of interest at least some point in this investigation. And you mentioned, Lieutenant, I know that we kind of talked over the phone a lot about this, that you're going to be putting this in as evidence or potential evidence?
No, it is. It'll be in evidence under the case.
Okay. Yep. Exactly what he said was, we're going to take this video and compare it to our previous interviews with him, which is fine. However, we don't have access to your previous interviews, so I made it very clear to him that this was based off of his deposition in the civil lawsuit that was filed by Emma against the family for defamation. And I wanted to make it, and he did speak about it, that he understood what civil suit I was speaking about.
Yes.
Okay, and is there any way we could do an official request for an interview with Chief Adrian Vasquez?
You can. I will let you know he's extremely busy, so it won't be happening today.
We understand. We understand, though, that he was the lieutenant in charge of the Christopher Abeyta case in 2011, so we'd really like to get a hold of him. We also heard that a cold case detective was recently brought back on, Matiatos.
He's a CCI.
Joe Matiatos retired, and he's now one of our civilian criminal investigators.
Okay. Is there any way we could request an interview with him as well?
Again, I can put in a request, but because it's an active investigation and we're actively following up on leads like this, we really just can't talk about a lot of things.
Okay.
So we really, even active investigations that aren't that we handle with our regular news media, we don't give out interviews to while we're actively investigating.
Okay. How long do you guys consider an investigation active and open?
Until
it's prosecuted.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Yeah. So even if every player in the entire realm of what potentially happened to Christopher Abeyta are deceased, you guys will still continue to have it active and open?
Yeah, so we have cold cases back decades. We just resolved one last year from 1976.
76, yep.
Based off of information that we received. And that person ended up being deceased, the person that we cleared it by. Okay. So there's no statute of limitations for certain crimes. Yep. This is one of those. Okay. So we'll keep investigating it till we get to closure, or it'll be open until.
Okay.
Happened is they never called us and told us. It was a reporter who said, I got word that your case, and you talk about my poor dad getting that information, not real, you just told me all my son's evidence was destroyed.
But what evidence? What evidence?
Exactly.
The crib was there.
Exactly.
The bedding was there.
Yeah.
The bottle was there.
Yeah.
The blanket was there. Right. What evidence did they take from
exactly.
that damn
Yeah.
house?
Yeah, exactly. What evidence? They won't confirm what evidence they even had. So, but they have said the evidence has been destroyed. They said it was a temporary worker who ended up accidentally purging a bunch of evidence.
So it makes us wonder why all these detectives are so tight-lipped right now.
And why, after 40 years, the CB at Colorado Bureau of Investigation has said all they have to do is ask. There are additional resources. And they have said, no, no, no. I have emails from 2009, 13, 16, 20, asking, please, why? Give me a good, valid reason why you won't just transfer the case over. And that's what we've dealt with for almost 4 decades, that Christopher's case is. And my belief and feeling on it is there were so many mistakes, botched from the beginning, that it's just, nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, we did speak to another person, and he's a gentleman who lives in the home that you used to live in. You mentioned that some of the officers that you had worked with at the courthouse, did they also feel that that was the same situation?
They implied that one of the deputies or PD officer or highway patrol, somebody in law enforcement blew it by compromising case or a clue or something, and I don't know any more than that.
It seems as if that first day they may have thought the family was involved.
Yes.
And they may have thought that somebody within the family is the one that brought Christopher out here, possibly put him in the lake, or try to hide him here in the woods. Yeah. That means somebody would have to do it, get back in their car, drive home, and look panicked and frantic, as if they're looking for their lost child.
Right. According to them, if the family was suspect, then they had to check within that area, that immediate area, and they did.
They checked this box.
They did.
Do you think law enforcement missed an opportunity, though, because while they were searching for him, they forgot the other element of this investigation by taking evidence from the home? There's so many different pieces of this investigation that, I will say it, were botched from the beginning.
Yeah.
There's no way a 7-month-old would walk out of that home.
Mm-mm.
Something happened to him, and somebody picked him up that night.
Yeah.
And it was law enforcement's job to go in there and to secure the location to make sure that they had the evidence they needed to find out who did it.
The police never, ever got our phone record or asked for our phone calls that we made out of our home that night. My mom kept everything from that night because she knew, she was like, I'm just going to keep anything and everything from that day on. So we had our phone bill from July, 86. We actually had it. And the detective says, can you get that to me? And I'm like, yeah. And I did. But I'm saying, boy, as a detective looking at it, who did this family talk to that night?
Bottom line, whatever they did or did not do, there are people we need to speak to.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Turn
so
left
this is the street.
Turn right, yeah.
Turn right?
Mm-hmm. There it is, right there.
There it is. Okay, we're at the home of Emma Bradshaw. We're here to ask her what she knows about Christopher's disappearance, if anything, and if she had any conversations with Gil about the boy's disappearance after.
Can I help you?
Yeah, my name is Luis Carlos. I am an investigator from New Mexico, and this is Crystal Gutierrez. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, what we're doing is we're actually looking for your mom, Emma. Is she around?
She's not here.
She's not here? Okay. Is there a time where we can come back and talk with her?
She is currently. What is this about?
Okay. What we're doing is we're doing an investigation on the missing boy, little Christopher.
36 years.
Yes, sir.
We've already gone to court on it.
Right.
We're done.
Okay.
No more. Thank you very much.
Okay. We just wanted to kind of get her side of the story on it.
It's already been taken care of in the courts.
Yeah? All right.
Have a wonderful day.
All right,
Do
sir.
not bother us again.
All right, take care.
So what do you think about, all these accusations that she could have kidnapped Christopher?
I think it was a bunch of because she's not that way. Like I say, she's not combative or, like I say, she gets cranky once in a while, but she's not that way. She's not a combative person.
For the longest time, I was justice. It's about justice. And I think I told you, Crystal, that it is, but it's answers and peace for me right now. And it's a hard thing for me to swallow.
She was 15 when he disappeared.
She has been the most vocal and active in this investigation.
She is willing to go that extra mile to make sure that her brother's case continues to gain attention, in hopes that somebody will come forward and let them know what happened to Christopher.
So that brings me to the question, is Christopher alive?
Do you think he's alive?
That's the $1 million question, Crystal. That's all that my family needs to know, so that we can have some peace.
In the silence, deep resounding violence of two hearts beating for each other in the quiet stillness. I'm reminded of what it means to love another. I would carry it all.
A new age progression is going to be released this year of what he will look like at age 40.
When the light has gone and all the night has fallen.
Those little things you don't think of as a big deal, you'd be surprised, because they will create the puzzle that we need, that extra puzzle piece.
Songs inside your heart come calling.
Christopher, I want to tell you, if I'm not here, you couldn't even imagine how much your whole family has loved you and missed you. It was the most devastating and horrific thing that would have ever happened to us. You were the highlight of our family. You made me so happy the time I had with you. And then, of course, waking up and seeing you're gone just hurt our whole family. We were determined to get you back, and that's what we've worked on for all these years. I do leave and I'm not here. I hope it's within my power to be able to help someone find you.